real book, Night and Day, some people actually will play A flat major 7 as the first chord instead of D minor 7 flat 5. I personally like the D minor 7 flat 5, but I think at the same time A flat major 7 is really a neat sound as well. Night and day, you are the one. And that's the motif versus this night and day with that D or the A flat. And if you're wondering what the difference is, they're almost pretty closely related. I mean, it's almost like a Lydian sound, meaning a sharp 11 on the A flat if you were to do this instead of A flat major 7. If you played A flat major 7 with a flat 5, then you're getting closer to that D minor 7 flat 5, but now you gotta lower the G to an F. Then you get this sound, if I could even do it myself. So really, see, that's an inversion, basically, of D minor 7 flat 5 with the A flat in the bass. I'm just kind of showing you this inversion of D minor 7 flat 5 with the flat 5 in the bass. That means A flat, like this. But now I want to show you A flat major 7. See, so it's kind of related. It's almost like playing an A flat 6. If you're wondering what that chord is, again, I'm going to show it to you in 3 steps. You have A flat major 7, A flat 6, and then now flat the 5 to a flat 5 or sharp 11. So now you can call that as an A flat major 6 sharp 11, but really now it's now turned into D minor 7 flat 5. That's how it's related. So it's really pretty substitution. So, you know, what a substitution can be, instead of playing D minor 7 flat 5, you can play this A flat major 7. I know it's not exactly the same 4 notes unless you did the inversion, and then G7, and then C major 7. And when I said G7, I'm actually playing G7 sharp 5. And then C major 7. If you guys know what is this thing called Love, he really liked that sharp 5 into the major 7 because it's kind of bluesy, that E flat. So, but there's also a chart which I'm not including from the Django fake book. I know some of you have that, and it actually says A flat major 7. But listen to the difference. And now listen to it with the A flat major 7. Okay. This or this. Night and day. See, now I played it over here. Then G7. And basically that could be a nice simple chord melody. Again, A flat major 7 or D minor 7 flat 5. It's kind of nice to have some options for your arrangement. You might even mix it up. And again, I think that's really also very neat. It's a bigger concept once we even discuss soloing, because then you might do A flat major 7, and then G7, then C major, A flat major 7, and it's just a nice little soloing trick you could do. You could think A flat major 7, G7, C major 7, as opposed to the D minor 7 flat 5. Again, those are just some options. I personally prefer D minor 7 flat 5, and over that D minor 7 flat 5, you can look at my arpeggio sheet I just sent. D minor 7 flat 5, I'm often thinking, well, D minor 7 flat 5 equals F minor 6. And that's my favorite arpeggio for that, at least shape-wise. That's a true F minor 6. And then for the G7, what I usually do, it's a good trick, is diminish it. So then you go to F diminish. And then for the C major 7, I play E minor 7. And that's it basically in a nutshell for the first 8 bars. F minor 6, F diminished, E minor 7. Again. And in my ear, I'm hearing this, 2, 5, 1. And basically on that 2, 5, all I did was take that D half dim and turn it to a fully dim. I don't even play the 5 chord. That D diminished 7 is a substitute for the 5. So to me, one of the great tricks on a 2, 5, 1 is don't even worry about the 5. Just turn your 2 lick into a fully diminished 7 and then go straight to the 1. So ultimately, you really are just thinking 2, 2 diminished, 1. You don't even worry about the 5. The 5 is substituted for the 2 diminished. And of course, the 2 could be minor 7 flat 5, as in this case, or it could be just a plain old minor 7 if you're, not wanting it as dark. But for Cole Porter, for this song, and for like What Is This Thing Called Love, he often used a 2 half diminished to make it a little bit darker, almost to kind of fool you, like it's darker, and then it goes brighter to the major. So again, this is also how I do my chords often, is this. And there I'm just showing you my substitute for C major 7. I like to think E minor 7. So again, this is kind of interesting because now I'm relating it all back to F. So I like F, this is how I'm thinking of the first 8 bars often. F minor 6, F diminished, E minor 7. And again, that's the same as doing this D minor 7 flat 5. I just, instead of thinking D minor 7 flat 5, I'm just thinking F minor 6. It's fine to do both because they're both the same 4 notes. And then when you turn it to diminished, the F minor 6 goes nicely to F diminished 7. That's the same as D diminished 7. So again, it doesn't really matter how you're thinking of it. I just often like to think 4. Sorry, I'll say that. Minor 4. Then 4 diminished. And then, as a substitute for the 1, I'm playing the 3. Here's Girl from Ipanema. And that's more off that minor, off the pentatonic there on the 3. 4. Diminished 4. Minor 7. And how's this? I like that. Little triplet. Da 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 dum. 4. So that should be written there if you guys got that printout that I just sent you. It says arpeggios for night and day, and that's kind of what I'm thinking there on the first 8 bars, if you're wondering what that's about. Let me take a look here. I wasn't looking at it, but oh, okay, yeah, so this is interesting. I gave you 2 options here. I said D minor 7 flat 5, kind of face value, and you do this. But that equals F minor 6. So actually that gives you 2 nice shapes to work with. This. Again, if you want to play a lot of notes, you could do that. You don't have to, you don't even need all of that. I was just staying up here on the F minor 6, just on the top 3 strings. Just a nice little phrase. Then you want to turn it to diminish, and this is where I wrote 2 options. Either D diminished or F diminished. Which, as you know from the diminished substitution, they're the same 4 notes. So again, you have kind of 2 different routes to play with. Of course, you could apply this all over the neck, but, at first, we just want to apply some of these ideas in a really simple, melodic way and swinging. Okay, and that's the first 4 bars, and then repeat it. And they are connected E minor 7 to C major 7. D minor 7 flat 5, diminish it, C major 7. There's a little blues lick for you, Rob. You could get kind of bluesy on that C major, kind of, F minor, diminished, C blues. Etc. Just have fun navigating that progression over and over. This minor 6, diminish, major or something, or E minor 7. Minor 6, diminish it, and then resolve. And just keep your ideas very, very simple, like this. And I'm thinking E minor, again, over that C, because I know it creates an E minor over C creates a C major 9, especially if you add the 7 on. But just the E minor triad against a C creates C major 7, okay? And that's a really sweet way of playing. I love to play E minor, licks. So again, that's kind of the idea behind those first 4 bars. But again, it's just kind of a nice soloing trick, but this applies to so many of these songs. Again, 2-5-1, but especially when you have that half diminish, I just think it's such a nice flavor to think off the 4 chord and use a minor 6 and then diminish it and then go down a half step to the 3. Basically, you're substituting the 3 for the 1. If you just want to keep it really simple, keep it very melodic, that's what I would recommend. So essentially, now it becomes 2-5-1-6. 1-6-2-5, but you're starting on the 2. And C sharp diminished 7 is a substitute for A7. So again, now it turns out to be often that I'm thinking like a diminished chord, almost every other chord. Basically, you could think diminished arpeggios, diminished sounds in place of your dominant sounds. That gives you a great, darker flavor, color. So what I was saying was, how the progression is basically 2-5-1? Yes. Just thinking, forget all the quality of the chords. It's D, G, C, 2-5-1. Mm-hmm. And then instead of just hanging on the 1 for 2 measures, waiting to go back to D minor 7 flat 5, okay, I often like to put a C sharp diminished 7 to connect the C major to the D minor 7 flat 5. It's really coming from A7. A7 pulls you back to D minor. So you could even just do A7 as a rhythm player, but I find it easier just to do this little movement. And it's beautiful, just that little passing chord, the C sharp dim, between C major 7, C sharp dim for the A7, and then night and day, you are the one, right here. Only you, beneath the moon, and under the sun. So notice how much diminished I'm using. I'm going to use the diminished 7 chord, every other chord. This is what I was kind of saying. I like to practice my ideas, so I'm often inserting that diminished 7 chord or arpeggio if I'm playing lead. But now we have something like this, night and day, then diminish it. You are the one, and then C sharp dim. See those dims? Only you, beneath the moon, diminish, and under the sun. And then on the second time, because it's not going to go back to the D minor 7 flat 5, I wouldn't diminish it there. I would just stay on C major 7. Or for filler, I would just do C major 7 to C major 6. That's kind of what I like to do often, just to fill in 2 measures of space. Just go C major 7, and then C6. And then F sharp minor 7, flat 5. Whether near to me or far, It's no matter, darling, where you are, I think of you. And then G7. Night and day. And there I did a fancier turnaround. I saved the fancy turnaround, even though it's not written on the chart. I saved the fancy turnaround for the last two measures. Night and day. So what I did there was really common movement. 1, 4, 3, 6. I'll show it to you this way. C, F, E, A, and then D. I'll do that again. C, F, and then down a half step to the 3, and then to A, the 5 of, or it's really the 6, but it's the 5 of the 2. So it's like, I'll do it again. And that's a sweet turnaround there. Chord like this. And that time there, because it wasn't going to go back to the 2, I made that 1 major 7 to the major 6. And the B section goes to E flat major 6 for 2 bars. And then it goes C major 7 or C major 6 for 2 bars. Here's the trick. Do exactly what we just did at the top of the song, the A section, if you're soloing using pentatonics. C minor pentatonic, C minor 7 basically, equals E flat 6. 2 bars and then make it major. So we're doing nothing different, essentially. And you got the whole song. And then minor, major. Here's our sequence. Again, C minor. But the bigger picture is make sure that you can kind of go from minor, major.